Breaking news, any moment we're expecting to see Empire actor Jussie Smollett leave court after posting bond. Prosecutors just laid out point by point their case against Smollett, revealing extensive details about the planning behind the alleged attack, including prosecutors say he had his attackers buy red hats to resemble Make America Great Again hats. Smollett just wrapped up his first court appearance where the judge set bail at $100,000 and had him surrender his passport. CNN's Nick Watt joins me now live from Chicago. Nick, you were in the courtroom today. There was a lot of drama and a lot of surprising information.
Jake, there were no cameras in there, but reporters were allowed in. It was an extraordinary scene. Smollett walked in wearing a black puffer jacket, looking straight ahead, no expression on his face. His family was in the courtroom. They stood as Jussie entered the courtroom, and they stayed standing throughout the proceedings. As you mentioned, the prosecutor laid out their case that this was not a hate crime, that Jussie Smollett was not attacked by two people shouting MAGA country, but that, in fact, he orchestrated this entire attack. And they took us through it point by point, how it was Smollett's idea, how he first recruited one brother, then the other brother. There were a number of texts and phone calls that they cited to back up their case. You know, they also told us that Smollett took the brothers to the scene, talked them through what was going to happen, that they were supposed to hit him, but, not too hard, and they were supposed to, let him fight back. He apparently told these brothers that they were to shout at him, "This is MAGA country." And as you mentioned, he'd also given them $100 to buy supplies, including the noose that made that rope, the rope that made the noose, and also the clothing that they were wearing that night. And also, very interesting on the camera, he pointed out the camera to the brothers, and then when he was speaking to police, he told the police, "I think that the attack was caught in that camera." In fact, it wasn't. The camera was pointing the other way. Jake?
Nick, this day kicked off with a pretty intense news conference from the Chicago police superintendent, who did not hold back when it came to criticizing Smollett.
Yeah, listen, Jake, in this job, we get used to what I call kind of law enforcement speak. When they give press conferences, it's usually kind of a just the facts, ma'am approach. That was not this. There were a lot of facts, don't get me wrong, but also Superintendent Eddie Johnson was really speaking from the heart. And he said, this city has taken in Jussie Smollett, and he has slapped everyone in this city across the face. Take a listen. Chicago police are pissed off. Their words, not mine.
I'm offended by what's happened, and I'm also angry.
Empire actor Jussie Smollett had claimed he was attacked by two men shouting, "This is MAGA country," hurling homophobic and racist epithets, throwing a noose around his neck. Cue an outpouring of love, sympathy, and support on social media, but some doubters and a defensive appearance on Good Morning America.
Who the would make something like this up or add something to it or whatever it may be?
Police say that's exactly what Smollett did. So he went from that tearful TV appearance just last week to today and a courtroom bond hearing. Police say Smollett knew his attackers, hired them, cut them a check, choreographed this entire attack.
And why? This stunt was orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary. So he concocted a story about being attacked.
Police say they tracked the two alleged attackers using surveillance footage from around the city, identified the two men, one of whom had appeared on Empire with Smollett, found out they'd flown to Nigeria after the attack on return tickets, arrested them on arrival back in Chicago last week. The law says they can be held for 48 hours for questioning. Eventually, they confessed and were not charged.
So it wasn't until the 47th hour of their 48-hour hold time that we could legally hold them in custody that it took a change. But when we discovered the actual motive, quite frankly, it pissed everybody off.
Here's what police say actually happened. That threatening letter that arrived at the Empire set a week before the attack, Smollett sent it to himself.
When that didn't work, Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
We have video of the two alleged hired attackers the day before buying the clothes they wore. We also know they bought that rope at a local hardware store. Police believe Smollett planned for the attack to be caught on camera, but the nearby camera was facing the other way.
They punched him a little bit, but as far as we can tell, the scratches and bruising that you saw on his face was most likely self-inflicted.
Smollett now charged with a felony, filing a false police report. Sentencing guidelines on that, up to 3 years in jail.
Absolute justice would be an apology to this city that he smeared, admitting what he did, and then be man enough to offer what he should offer up in terms of all the resources that were put into this. Thank you all.
Smollett's lawyers, for now, criticizing the investigation, the leaks, saying they will mount an aggressive defense. Now, the judge in this case said it would be entirely inappropriate to release Smollett without bail. He, as we've discussed, he imposed $100,000. Smollett has had to pay $10,000. We expect him to be leaving that jail cell over there, the jailhouse, any second now. Now, the other thing is that judge, who was an African-American, he said that if this is true, it is utterly outrageous. And he spoke specifically about that noose that Smollett allegedly told those men to put over his head. He said that symbol conjures up such an evil in this country. But he stressed, listen, innocent until proven guilty, but if true, utterly outrageous. Jake?
All right, Nick, thank you so much.